peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
Fellow Africans, since 1957, when Ghana gained independence, there has been quite a lot of political, social, economic indicators on the African continent that show that Africa has progressed from pre-independence Africa to post-independence Africa.
Ghana, your beloved country, is free forever. From now on, there is a new African in the world. That new African is ready to fight his own battle and show that after all, the black man is capable of managing his own affairs.
66 years down the road, Africa finds itself with the first country, Ghana, having gained independence. We find ourselves still locked up, controlled, manipulated, instructed, logistically supplied, equipped by foreign powers that dictate our agenda. Africa is endowed with plenty of minerals, resources, good weather. The climate is so favorable for the growth of food enough to sustain us. But we find ourselves in countries where hunger is killing people. Hunger is killing people because most of the people have taken to arms to fight wars, conflicts. Starvation has taken the place of development. In most African countries like Sudan, South Sudan, Central African Republic, Cameroon, Nigeria, in Biafra, and the north of Nigeria there is Boko Haram, Somalia in the Horn of East Africa. We have taken to conflict instead of development. Development was the key indicator. When Kwame Nkrumah made the first speech that seek ye African political unity, economic development will come automatically, he was right. The events happening in Libya today vindicates Nkrumah, vindicates Nyerere, Sekou Toure, and NASA, the founding fathers of our Pan-Africanism. The events happening in Central African Republic, in Congo, today as the war of rebels ranges on between the rebel and the rebels and the government and the rebels vindicates the founding fathers of this revolution. Our independence, therefore, was only on paper. Our independence, therefore, was only in symbols. Our independence also was in signs. Our independence also was in boundaries. That we received our flags, but we never received full independence as by the word independence. Most of the 3/4 of African countries, French-speaking countries, have their budgets being done in Paris. Is that independence? The Paris government or the French government does its budgets based on how much they will get from African countries. Is that independence? Is this the Africa that you want? Is it the Africa that we must look at? Is it the Africa that we shall leave for the future generation? If the answer to you is yes, then so be it. But if the answer is no, you agree with me that this is not the Africa we want to live for the future generation. Our generations and the future generation need to find a legacy. What is the legacy that Africa and African Union will leave for the future generation? The wars ranging in Libya, in South Sudan, in Khartoum, in Mogadishu, in DRC Congo, in Amazonia, in Cameroon, Boko Haram, Mali, in Mauritania, the uprisings in Algeria, all point to one thing, that yes, we are not yet independent. We are still controlled by external forces. Thank you. There are a number of countries in Africa that produce oil. Kenya today became one of the member states of oil producing countries in Africa. It exported its first oil where President Uhuru Kenyatta flagged off the oil that was got from Turkana in one of the northeastern parts of this country. But is oil a curse to Africa? Is oil a curse to the entire places where oil is found? We see in the Middle East, the wars in Iran, in Saudi Arabia, in Yemen, in United Arab Emirates. It has developed the area in Qatar. We all have many cities, skyscrapers coming up because of the proceeds from the oil. But can Africa emulate that example and bring the same oil proceeds to make sure that it makes lives better for the people, the betterment of the people of Africa and their families and their other activities? I want to see that. But I might not be able to explain why Africa always falls a victim. Are there external forces that make the oil in Africa to become sour? Is it the competition of the oil companies, Total and Shell BP and others that come to Africa to take the share of the oil? Simply because we have no energy, ability to be able to drill the oil ourselves, refine it ourselves. It is shocking, therefore, to go to Nigeria, for example, a country that produces third in the world for oil production, has no petrol at the petrol station. Is this not a curse? If it's not a curse, what do you call it? Thank you. Good evening, viewers. Welcome to Punchline Africa Television, broadcasting all the way from the Republic of Kenya in Nairobi. Thank you very much, viewers, wherever you are in the world, in Cairo, in Tripoli, in Khartoum, in Juba, in Kigali, in Kampala, in Accra, in Abuja. Good afternoon. When you are in Abuja, you are in good afternoon. In Nairobi, good evening. Viewers, wherever you are, those in London, President Uhuru Kenyatta and his fellow presidents of Africa watching this program live from Nairobi. Good afternoon in London. Good afternoon. Good morning in America. And therefore in evening or very early in the morning or somewhere in having lunch in down under in Australia, in Russia, in China, in Malaysia, in South Africa. Viewers, this is a Pan-African station. It's the only station that talks about Africa. That what ails Africa, what kills Africa, why Africa has been a topic of everybody, everyone from outside Africa. They talk about us, conflicts. We have resources, we can feed our people, but we have conflicts that always come in front of the pictures of the Western Hemisphere television station. Is it time to correct this? What will it take for the people of Africa to stand up and correct these versions? The darker continent has become darker with wars, killing people, conflicts that never end. When you look at the conflicts in Tripoli, in Abuja, in Nigeria, in North Maiduguri state of Nigeria, Boko Haram, you look in Biafra, you look in Amazonia, you look in Central African Republic, you look in Somalia. What does our continent want? What do we want as Africans? Why have we failed to be the real people of Africa? Viewers, I want to take this opportunity to thank you. I want to take this opportunity to introduce myself. I'll run through this program. This evening, I'm talking sincerely, directly to the government of South Sudan. I'm also going to talk directly to the international donors, international agencies, to help the government of South Sudan to achieve peace. As you know, I've been on the side that condemns. I have condemned both Dr. Riek Machar and the President Salva Kiir. With 1 month left, today is 22nd, we have 1 month left out of the 100 days. Have we made progress? Is there progress? Shall we keep the progress? Shall we keep the progress? That's why I've toned down to seek solutions, to seek ways of helping the people of South Sudan to achieve a long-lasting peace. I will begin today this program by addressing the President of South Sudan, President General Salva Kiir. My elder brother, this world is watching. 6.3 million people under starvation. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands dead. MATSANGA Africa Perspective is not going to apportion blame. We want to seek a solution today. We want to ask you, Father Yi, you are here, you are an elder, you are a statesman of one of the African nations, a younger nation of Africa that battled the North Khartoum government for years, won independence. Father Yi, You are a leader. Can you give us peace? Can we give the people of South Sudan peace? Can you allow the children to go back to school? Can you allow the mothers to return to get treatment? Can you allow the people to feed themselves? Can you allow the people to dig, till their farms? Sudan has got a very fertile land. The amount of food that we import from outside for Sudan could be got from inside Sudan if there was peace. My elder sir, many Africans, millions are watching. The clock ticks now. The clock ticks now. And the clock is ticking towards 22nd of February. There are those around the world who would like to punish South Sudan. They are already punished. The international community should not punish them more than that. Oh yes. Oh yes. They are already punished. South Sudanese are already punished. Adding more injury to already injured wounds, to the wounds that we have without solving these ones. We are moving nowhere. The countries like the United States of America, day in, day out, issuing statements of sanctions against the government in Juba, which is already gone. The government in Juba has no money. What are you giving sanctions on? My argument, I'm addressing today General Salva Kiir. Tomorrow I will address another general. General number 2, Malong. I'm looking for you. I want to address you. You need other military men like us to address you, because civilians might not address you. We want a solution for Sudan. The other day, the next day, I'm looking for Dr. Riek Machar. I know where you are. I know where you are sitting now. Prepare for my interview. The clock is ticking. I want to thank St. Gideon, Dr. Fabio, the Vatican. I want to thank you people. You brought peace in northern Uganda, although nobody has given you a medal. Dr. Riek, Salva Kiir, General Malong, and the rest of the generals, you brought peace in our country. We need peace in your country. I was one of those that was part and parcel of the peace process that has made northern Uganda silent completely. My mandate was to make sure peace returned in northern Uganda and the southern Sudan. It came. It is holding 11 years today. But I want to turn the leaf to you, my elders. I want to turn the leaf to you, that the same people you helped are here to help you, to guide you towards a final destiny. I want to thank General Salva Kiir. He's tried. Oh yes, give a credit where it is. He's tried, but not enough. Until you have the ink, it dries, You keep the promises that you have said and signed before. That is the time that Africa will keep quiet. That is the time Matsanga will keep quiet. I talk on behalf of the millions and the millions of women suffering, running from bullets, running from rapists, running from defilement, children who have not gone to school, children who want to go to school, diseases, dying, people are dying of diseases. People are killing innocent people. I'm talking on behalf of those who cannot talk. There is nobody going to silence me not to talk. Because I'm an African. And as an African, I would stand firm to talk. The refugees are in Uganda. The situation in northern Uganda could become worse if we have big numbers of refugees leaving South Sudan coming into the same area that we had peace, which was growing very firm. So I have a right to talk. Don't tell me I should not talk about South Sudan. You'd be the worst criminal, anybody, not to tell me not to talk. Perhaps there are people who have never used guns who don't tell you the truth. Your Excellency, it's time now. The clock is ticking slowly. 22nd January, 22nd February. The time is now. The question of increase or decrease, whatever you want to say in English, increase, decrease, that is not here or there. The start of this war is yourselves. You started it. You must end it. We are appealing to the world. I will come to the section where I'm going to appeal to the world. These obnoxious sanction givers, these guys here, those who always come with sanctions, as if you go and they come to our Africa to take our sunshine, and then they put sanctions on us. Those ones, don't worry. We shall deal with them. We shall deal with them. We have dealt with the ICC. It is bankrupt. It's bankrupt today. Because they don't use, they want to take Africans. The ICC cannot arrest even an American. The ICC cannot arrest even half of an Israeli. But the ICC is ever poking its nose to arrest Africans. Yes, we shall deal with them. Don't worry. Sign for us the agreement, then we see who is going to come. Fatou Bensouda is useless. Very useless. Moreno Ocampo is a thief, a big thief, who got $17 million to indict Bashir, yet crimes were committed. But he was paid $17 million from an American account to indict Bashir. Shame. So don't worry about those institutions. Sign the peace. Sign the agreement. Allow the children, the women to go to school, to have treatment, hospitals to open, to serve the people, deliver the food. Walai. Walai. The people are dying. General Salva Kiir, drop the ego. I'm going to address all of them. There's no way of escape now. It is in catch 22. 22 days, 22nd February. Every general who is involved in the war in South Sudan Prepare yourself to take on me, to answer my questions. I want to find a solution. We want the people of South Sudan to have peace. They have suffered enough. They have suffered enough. The humanitarian catastrophe, the cries of the children, the cries of the women, the cries of the fathers whose families keep on running because of the activities of different militias must stop. Africa must begin to solve its own problems. Some time back, when Resolution 1970 of the United Nations Security Council, when that resolution was written and passed by America, by the Security Council, I wrote a letter to President Museveni. The only letter that I and Museveni have agreed on for many years. I predicted the predicament of Libya. That letter can be got in the new vision, and I think my production team or my researcher, general manager in charge of Google and research, new vision, Matsanga's letter on Libya to President Yoweri Gakuta Museveni. Why they had allowed Libya. Today, on BBC Focus on Africa, President Museveni said the same things that I said when Resolution 1970 of the United Nations Security Council had been passed. And guess what? The country in Africa that passed the resolution, that made the resolution workable, is South Africa. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have to say it. My television, I don't hide. The president who allowed Libya to be bombed is Jacob Zuma. Germany withdrew from voting, abstained. Can you guess an African country coming to vote to dismember Libya? It was Libya that helped ANC to come to power. But that's what Africa is. The records are very clear. I'm a student, not a student. I lecture on international relations. Everything is here. And you don't need to ask me even when I'm going to the grave. Jacob Zuma called his diplomat in the United States of America in New York to vote the dismembering of Libya. They had a trick. And I want to tell this story so that my people of South Sudan should not be tricked by these foreign countries. Back in the United Nations and back at the African Union, there was a traitor clique led by Dr. Jean Ping, a French operative working for DSGE, French Foreign Intelligence, who pretended to hire a plane of 5 or 6 heads of state to go to Tripoli. But the plane was delayed in Bamako. Moses Wetangula, the then foreign minister of Kenya, was among the people found in Bamako. The same Zuma President Museveni were found in Bamako. Their plane was delayed. Someone in the African Union sold us out. The truth be told. And we today again, we are being sold out. And as Africans, we don't see it. We are being sold out on Libya. The Ottoman Empire, with its colonial traits, is coming back on the continent. It is buying oil in Somalia. It is in Libya with troops armored with ships anchored, ready. The country in the middle of all this crisis that brought us to where we are in Libya is France. The people of Africa need answers. I'm giving this example. My letter is very clear. You can find it with my good Shakespearean English. I might not have a good accent, but you can't beat me in English language. When I write an exam, I passed. And I've passed several. I've read political science to a level that you cannot challenge me even when my eyes are blind. I'm telling you, the people of my people of Africa, the cradle of African civilization, South Sudan. Listen to me, General Salva Kiir. Time is now. Behind all this, I just want to say it, and I will say it to Malong, to General Malong, I will say it to General Riek Machar, I will say it to all of them. This is the time this week, between now and the 22nd of February, we shall be. I will culminate it with an interview in Sky News, 1 hour. I want to thank Sky News that I am the one, and I will deliver Africa. Thank you for reconsideration that you have made. I lost my job when I defended in Kenya in 2009, 8, when I came here and I saw a stupid man wanting to break this country called Kenya, including Ambassador Reinberger. I want to tell General Salva Kiir, listen to me, brother. Don't hire Ambassador Reinberger. Don't give him that money. He's going to use it to create a tribunal against you. Ambassador Reinberger took Uhuru Kenyatta to the ICC. Ambassador Reinberger took Ruto to the ICC. Ambassador Reinberger took the other Ocampo 6, Ocampo 4, Joshua Sang, Major General Ali, Kosige, and Francis Mudaura. This is the man who concocted evidence against these brothers of mine. I lost my job. That's why I'm begging. I lost my job for standing for Kenya. But I want to thank the owners of Sky News that now in Nairobi, we shall make the biggest headquarters. Time comes so that we tell the truth instead of telling lies. The problem of Africa is like what Walt Senyuka said, not the cheap saying that he says we are thieves. No, the problem is that we behave, all Africans behave like Lakunule. Lakunule, a character in The Lion and the Jewel. I want every African listening to me tonight to buy that book or go on your Google The Lion and the Jewel, and read through the characters, and you will see, you'll find one clear character called Lakunule, who felt that he had gone to London, to UK, to Europe, and he had come back to Africa to tell Africans how things were, forgetting that his trouser was shorter, and the people were asking, what are you wearing? Viewers, the troubles of South Sudan can be traced back to 4 points. What kills Africa is power struggle. Power struggle starts with corruption. Today I'm giving a lecture. Corruption, 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 and corruption. It kills Africa. And that is what killed South Sudan. General Salva Kiir, watch my eyes, let me take off the glasses so that you can see me properly. That's one of the reasons complaints started of those corruptly eating and those not eating. The level of corruption forced people to say, I want now power, I want power, I want power. Because there were loopholes of corruption. Most African countries collapse because of corruption. The lack of equitable distribution of resources. Equitable distribution of resources kills Africa. We found these resources. God made them. But we must eat it for all of us. Second factor of South Sudan is ethnicity. We are all black. Why do you say another one is black, yellow, or green? No, we are all black. The South Sudan episode is ethnicity. It brought the chaos you see on the streets today. A country that was moving so fast with a lot of development coming broke down because of ethnicity. I hope the peace agreement will heal that. The third factor of South Sudan is ego. We Africans have ego. Yes, 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 we have ego. Challenge me that there is no ego. I'll tell you where it is. There is ego. We have ego in Africa. We make things we don't accept. We think we are the real people, real McCoy. Before somebody finishes the sentence, you said, I know. I have leaders in Africa who say that, who know everything. They know everything. You go to his office, maybe you have heard something he doesn't know. He said, no, I know. Then as you discuss, as you go talking, what was it again? Say, why are you asking me when you knew? That's the Africa we have. That is the Africa we have, ego. And I'm going to tell it to all the generals, the people who are fighting in South Sudan. I'm no longer a friend of anyone, and nobody should pocket me. I'm a friend of the people who are suffering in the forests, in the bushes, in the mountains, in the valleys, in the caves of South Sudan. I'm a friend of the children who want to go to school. I'm a friend of the women who are being raped. I'm a friend of the people who have no medicine, yet medicine can't be afforded. I'm a friend of the people who are dying of hunger. 6.3 million people will face starvation if we don't do a peace process. That is my friendship. You can have your money. I will have those people of Sudan. South Sudan. They helped us to have peace. We need to help them to have peace. Don't get annoyed with me. I'm talking the truth. Maybe Paul was not a Jew, but God made him talk to the Jews. Most of the Jews, like Judah, became traitors and killed Jesus. But Paul was not a Jew. He spread the gospel better than the Jews. A nation does not belong to only you. A nation belongs to all of us, to all people in Africa. Today the world is a global world. There are so many Sudanese, many millions of Sudanese are global citizens with dual nationality because of war. Therefore, they have a right to speak about South Sudan. Another problem that is cropping up, this so-called revitalized, because it includes other splinter groups. I will address them tomorrow when I'm interviewing somebody tomorrow. The splinter groups don't help in peace, but can unite and push for peace. I'm a very happy person that St. Gideon have come in to make sure that some of these groups are accommodated. One of the problems, and I want to speak here openly, immediately the war broke out in South Sudan, I wrote a letter to IGAD and I gave it to Madam Ambassador Dr. Amina Mohammed, who was by then the foreign minister of this country. And that letter can be got on www.panafricanforumltd.com. It is there. Breaking the cycle of violence in South Sudan. I remember the words of General Garang, my great friend, a great fighter, whom I knew in 1981, 82, 83. We brought him to Kampala because I worked under President Dr. Milton Obote. We gave him offices. I did not train in Oyinchibol, but I trained in another part of Africa, South, Kwetu, Tanzania. But I knew General Garang. There is something that he said in Runda in 1986 when he visited the late Peter Otai. May the soul of both of them, their souls rest in peace. Because this week, on 25th, Peter Otai will be buried, will be flown back to Uganda for burial. Peter, you've gone. You did your best to liberate Africa. Some of us who worked hand in hand with you will always remember you. General Garanga said in the house of Peter Otai in Runda, in the presence of the generals of the Uganda People's Front, UPF, he said, and this is the word I usually quote, for peace anywhere to grow, it must begin from the people. The basics. He emphasized that word basics. What are the basic needs of the people of Uganda? At the moment, he was telling Peter Otai, we had just finished dinner. We had dinner in a house near Girigiri. All of us were attentive. We came out in the balcony and sat down for many hours. And I remember those basic, what is the basic need? What are the basic needs of the people of South Sudan? The people of South Sudan, for peace to grow, they must have the basics. What do people want? What do people want? Did IGAD, I wrote and I quoted, I said, IGAD is preparing wars, not preparing peace. And you can see I've been vindicated. Twice, the collapse has been there. It was a war. You can't prepare. I said and I recommended. That document is self-explanatory. I said, for South Sudan, for the two friends who have separated ways and gone, for them to come back and peace to come, let South Sudan have one, a peace envoy mandated by the United Nations. Forget about these agencies that borrow money from here and there, borrowing money like MATSANGA borrows money. Forget about it. What the world did not listen was to mandate a peace envoy like Chisano, Rawlings, or anybody. Don't bring Obasanjo because he will create you problems. Obasanjo works for the French. He will create you problems. I said it. I'm frank. I said bring a man who knows, a military background officer who can be mandated to discuss peace in South Sudan. Don't bring these civilians. Exactly, we have lost lives as a result of not people reading documents, everybody having ego that they knew what they were doing. I want to thank President Uhuru Kenyatta for what he has done for this peace process. He's lost money. Kenya has lost thousands and thousands of dollars accommodating people. Kenya has stood by the peace process. But people did not listen to what some of us wrote. That document is there. You can see it. Until South Sudanese, my South Sudanese friends, my African friends, until you do the basics, which Garanga said you should do, we might be wasting people's time. And time is clicking against us. I want to take a break. And while on break, bring a few interviews or clips just for 2 minutes, and I return to talk about what can be done, the unity of purpose. How can we achieve it so that the agreement is signed? Who can help us with money? This agreement needs money. South Sudan, President Salva Kiir needs money to run this peace agreement. This peace needs money. Therefore, the second part, don't go away. Keep on with your notes. We want to find out where we can get this money for South Sudan peace to hold. Thank you. Today, thousands and thousands of Africans and many countries in Africa have conflicts. Notably, from Libya, Cameroon, Nigeria, Biafra, and the Boko Haram, to Democratic Republic of Congo, of where we have seen a resurgence of the past military and conflicts coming back in that country. Hundreds and hundreds of people have been displaced, killed, maimed, tortured, raped, several of them dying of hunger starvation, and other natural causes. The fighting seems not to be ending. For the sake of Libya, the Libyan recognized international government is under siege in Tripoli from another faction recognized by Egypt, France, UAE, and other countries. Whereas the one in Tripoli is recognized by the UN, it has been bombarded, has been strangulated, and many millions of Libyans are dying of hunger, lack of water. The water system has been cut off. The bombardment goes on. In Democratic Republic of Congo, we've seen more of active rebel activities returning to the region after some silence has been observed. When we come to Cameroon, we see millions and millions of Amazonians slaughtered. Yet, when you come to Biafra, again millions and hundreds of millions and millions are worried, displaced, tortured by the Buhari regime. Yet again in the north, we see Boko Haram killing, maiming, abducting, and burning down villages in the same Nigeria. When you cross over to Central African Republic, the same is the history that has littered Africa. While all these events are taking shape, Africa is silent. Africa is not making enough efforts to find a solution to what is causing the problems in Libya, in DRC, in Cameroon, in Nigeria, Biafra, and now you add in Khartoum, Sudan. As people die, the people of Africa have no answers, have no solutions. There is nothing to bring an end to the conflicts that have killed Africa. We seem to be new ones manufactured, old ones reignited, encouragement coming from external powers. One power that has been seen in the shadows of all these conflicts, especially the one of Libya that has escalated in the Sahara region of Africa, is France. When you come to Democratic Republic of Congo, the same country is in the shadows. The war can be seen is France. When you come to Cameroon, in Amazonia, the one behind that has the key to bringing peace is France. Therefore, our question as Africans, why are we silent? Why are we not saying enough is enough of the wars? Thank you. Thank you very much, viewers. Welcome back to the second part of our show, the last segment of our show. In the first segment, I pleaded with President Salva Kiir and his government to honor and to work towards unity and to honor the agreement, to make sure that he takes lead in making South Sudan governable. I believe the world will understand why we are talking about South Sudan. And it is this world that I want to address, to request the world to help the people of South Sudan to maintain that peace in the next 22 1 month from now. There is the signing of the peace agreement, but there is the maintenance of the peace agreement. Do we have enough money? Does South Sudan have enough money to maintain this, to maintain peace, to make sure that the people assembled, the soldiers who have been disarmed, assembled, are in various camps, eating, feeding, and doing activities that are needed in DDR? Do we have enough money for the DDR? Do we have enough facility, enough human resource, enough protection for the DDR? How do you get this? You need money. South Sudan needs money. South Sudan government needs help. South Sudan government should not be condemned too much without us helping. The international community, especially Britain, America, France, and all other countries, superpowers, China, India, Russia, Germany, you must come in and help. You must give South Sudan help. You must put a kitty, a donor situation. Why is it that when countries in Europe have war, you put a donor, United Nations sits down to donate, to ask for a donor conference? I want to challenge my good friend Brutus Guterres, Antonio Guterres, my dear brother. You know me by face and you know me by name. You have never doubted calling my name. In fact, you are the only one who calls my middle name. The rest can't pronounce it. Your Excellency, why is it that you have not done a donor conference for South Sudan? South Sudan needs help. The government there needs help. It needs help in order to sustain the peace that we are going to sign. Because there is no money, there is no activity. They have been in war. They need that money in order to sustain. A few weeks ago, I saw a letter from the opposition SPLMAO saying the same things I'm saying. Because the money is not enough to sustain the signed documents. We are bound to have difficulties if the money is not enough. If South Sudan has no money to keep the peace, we shall have a problem. I therefore call upon the international community today to start thinking of a donor conference. The AU, the EU, the UN must put their heads together and create a donor conference. Time has come for that donor conference to come. Less than that, we are trying to tell them to sign, but the peace will not hold because there will be no money even to feed those soldiers who have assembled in particular assembly places. There will be no money. So what will they resort to? They will resort to do banditry, steal people's property to have food. Let's have enough cash to sustain the peace agreement. I am appealing to the international community, and I'm very happy that for any peace in Africa to grow, if St. Gideon are not involved, you don't have it. Please, Please, if St. Gideon is not involved in your peace process, forget it. We had a lot of support when we were negotiating the Uganda peace process from St. Gideon. The government of South Sudan itself put its money, sacrificed its money to make peace work in Uganda. Therefore, we should not ignore, we should not anguish these people more. We should not isolate President Salva Kiir. We should not make him an enemy of the international community. We should make him work to hold the peace, give him the resources, account for it when it is given. Accountability is very important. The international community must give the money in order to sustain that peace. Less than that, we are just preparing another hazard that will explode in our eyes. Fellow viewers, time is now. Since the war broke in 2013, there have been claims of people doing whatever they are doing, government moving to create its own militias, accusations of that nature. At this moment, in this period, should not occur. Restrain from action all your troops. Officials say the people, Sudanese People's Liberation Movement Army in opposition has also, and I will ask this to Dr. Riek Machar when I get hold of his interview. The questions are not going to be, it's not easy. As I've told you, I'm a friend of the people who are dying. I'm not a friend of anybody, because none of them has paid me to come and do what I'm doing. I'm saying it. Those who might think I'm on the side of the government today, wait until I reach the side of Riek Machar. I'll tell him the same. Wait until I reach the side of General Malong. I will say the same. The time is now. I want to tell Dr. Riek Machar, General Salva Kiir, that if you hesitate, there is a country in Europe that has prepared something that I will tell you on 21st before midnight. I want to thank you all. I want to assist. Get rid of ego. Stop ethnicity. Stop power hungry. Stop corruption. Those 4 factors broke up South Sudan. South Sudan and the people of South Sudan had no bad habits. I was there in 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008. You could leave your door open, sleep with your gun on the bed. Nobody will come and take the gun or your money. Your phone could be brought to you. The people of South Sudan, that's how they are. That's how they are. And that's how they were. Something went wrong. Something went wrong. Because you could sleep in South Sudan, have a drink, sleep and open the door, the dollars are there. We people from outside, especially some few elements, thieves, went there and brought bad habits. But South Sudanese are the most respectable, most God-fearing, most organized people. They don't steal. They could not steal even anything. We used to live in Juba Ra, in Juba Bridge. You leave your phone and somebody said you left the phone, it is here. This is the type of country that we need back. I've spoken as an elder at my age of 64. I'm not going backwards. I have no time to fill appointment for job. I have a time to give consultancy, to tell you, because the wisdom here, what I've seen is what other elders have seen. I appeal to you, my people. I appeal to the people of South Sudan to look at what ailed their country. Those 4 pillars: power, corruption, ethnicity, and above all, ego. 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 That is what killed South Sudan. Is there anything else that I've left? If it was not corruption, then what was it? Was ethnicity, where you call another one Dinka, another Nuer, another one Dinka, another one this. That is ethnicity. It created a tension. Corruption was rampant. It created tension. Power struggle, the constitution, people wanting to change, people wanting to grab, people wanting to be in power, it created tension. And finally, ego. People saying, who are you? That thing, who are you? In any conflict resolution expert like me, I would rather take that thing, who are you? That ego was seen in the Uganda peace process, where President Museveni could tell people, call them names, until we took it out of his mouth, where Konyi could not recognize President Museveni. We took it out of his mouth. I'm speaking from experience here. I'm speaking from experience here. Dr. Yakamacha is watching me. You are a chief mediator. Dr. General Salvaki is watching me. You used to come into our peace process once in a while. We had to take that ego away from Museveni and the Konyi in order to get peace. Everyone was saying he was on top of the mountain, of the hill, as if he has seen God. Konyi would tell us how God is. Museveni would say that guy. We took the ego out of him. The peace returned. He agreed. I want you, we owe you a lot. We Ugandans owe you a lot. I'm so emotional when I talk about South Sudan. You owe us, we owe you a lot. You helped us to stop a war which Museveni could not have stopped. Over 120,000 men under arms. You helped us. And I'm talking to you, appealing to you, that I saw the carnage. I saw what has gone on in my own country. That's why I at times break down and cry tears. That we decided to have peace for you. We need peace from you, General Salvaki. This country needs peace. The children who have not gone to school for 5-6 years now, what will you tell them in a future generation? That I started a war? I did not stop it because I have ego, because I'm Dinka, because I'm Nur, because I want power. That's the frankness of what we are and what it is for me as Punchline Africa Television. I tell it as it is, and I want to thank the people, those whom have touched their hearts. The last point I want to make. respect the refugees. It is not their liking that South Sudanese were able to run and get where to go, but it's because of the war. There is need for respect for refugees, because it might be you tomorrow. Respect the refugees wherever they are. Give them a hand, a guidance. Don't discriminate them. Don't hate them. Don't give them bad names. Give them help. Most of us are refugees. I've been a refugee for almost 35 years today. If I include the one of Tanzania, I think I will come to about 40 or 38. But I have learned to have a respect for any other person who is going through the suffering that I went through. I've gone through to be able to have that type of education, to be able to speak, to be able to go to an interview, to get a job in Sky News, for example, for them to think about me and they say, no, that person was very good. To beat over 25,000 applicants when you are not the owner of Britain or America, wherever you are. It is painful. Give them help, give them assistance, and I want to thank the government of Kenya and the government of Uganda for the tenacity and the steadfastness they have conducted themselves around the issue of refugees. We know the resources are not enough, but here we are Africans, and Africa is us and it's our business. Also, take this opportunity to thank President Uhuru Kenyatta, to thank President Yoweri Museveni on the question of security. I agree with you. But on the question of other politics, I don't want to discuss it because I don't like it. I don't discuss Uganda politics because I'm not a participant. But on the question of security in the region, thank you very much for keeping up the momentum of the security in Somalia, and the President Uhuru Kenyatta for keeping the flag of Pan-Africanism high and allowing the people of South Sudan to stay despite the difficulties, despite the threats. There is one word that I had forgotten to say. When you see Kulune and the Pendergast, you see George Soros. Those are servants of George Soros. They always write reports. They always come to write reports. When Africans are dying, they document how they die. I've never been a friend of such neo-colonial proxies that have destroyed Africa. George Clooney and the Pendergast are two merchants of war. They plot to overthrow governments. They plot to cause insurgency, regime change. Why don't they help us instead of writing documents that kill people? A country is already dead. You want to kill it, bury it. Shame upon you people. Shame upon Clooney and the Pendergast. Both of you, I've always told Pendergast especially, you are useless. The only difference is you have money to use to come to molest Africans. But in intellect, you don't beat me. And that's my stand. I want to sample some of your text messages, that your chats and the posts. The letter is on here. You can see that letter which I wrote on 22nd December 2013, when the war had just broken out. It is on www.com, www.panafricanforumltd.com. That is a website with about 90 million people so far. You can find that letter there. Students studying conflict resolution can find themselves using some of the pieces on that website. I want to thank you very much. I want to thank all of you, those viewers. We had a huge number of viewers per second. Thank you very much. Tomorrow, we shall look this week, and up to 22nd is the countdown on South Sudan. We want the peace to hold, to be signed, the government to start functioning, to return to international community. We want the international community to give them money to support the peace process. Those are the things, the words that, instead of condemning the government of Dr. General Salva Kiir, let's help it to have peace. Thank you very much. This station, therefore, is for Africa. But before that, I want to thank some people. I'll read your name by name. Those who have actually written to me or made their comments. I will read some of them if they are short. Some look to be very long. Dominic Nwandwa, African leaders are a curse. Dominic Nwandwa again, good evening, punchline. Philip Ndwe Kweth, true what I'm saying. What is your topic tonight? It is the peace process. The countdown to the peace process. Chucks Okibia watching from Biafra in Nigeria. Skywalker, better those characters. Yours never been witnessed on earth. Okay, I don't know what he meant. Hello, brother. Hello, brother. You say people must forget what the former... I said, forget about Obasanjo. When Obasanjo comes near your country, he works for certain foreign powers. I did not say forget what he documented. I know where you are heading. You are heading at the Obasanjo report. No, forget what he tells you. We needed a general like Chisano. You rather have Chisano on the African continent than having 200 Obasanjos. On the Biafra can save us. That is about Nigeria. Means that documenting should be forgotten. No, we don't. Why don't you talk about your president's corruption and the keeping at office? I've told you I don't discuss Uganda politics. Neither am I interested in the politics because I don't see the democracy. Therefore, I don't talk about it. So, chairman of the Christian Association in Nigeria has just been killed by the Nigerian Boko Haram yesterday. Sorry, may his soul rest in peace. Panom Kog Chagar, watching from Australia, Western Australia, Perth, South Sudanese by birth. Greetings to all. Keep going, doctor. Thank you very much. Tender B Kadiamandare, you sound like you are talking about Zimbabwe. Yes, Zimbabwe is my other country. Is one of the countries that sanctions have hit so hard that Tendai, you don't even have a say today, and they still put on more sanctions. Yes, and Emmanuel Agustino, thank you very much. Nyabong Julius, Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Our people are suffering enough. The person in Juba refuses to honor. Now he's going to listen. God bless you, Africa. God bless Abazonia, Chelsea, Marshall Benedict. Thank you. Filiki D. Kwi Koef. God bless you guys. You guys for speaking the truth. Thank you very much. Yes. Kalistas Lumula. Corruption, impunity, entitlement, and ego has destroyed our mother Africa. How I pray rulers of South Sudan realize that these things are vanity. Let them know that we shall remember them when they are long gone for the good that they did not do. The amount of money they have taken and so on and so forth. Kalistas Lumula, thank you for your comment. I want to take this opportunity, therefore, to thank all of you and to thank the people of South Sudan, to thank all of you, to give all of you, the president, all the commanders, all the opposition leaders, peace, peace, peace. This station is for Africa, with Africa, by Africa. Charles.